Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the Dragon Wing Shawl just like I promised. So I am using Lion Brand Mandela Bonus Bundle. This is a very large skein of yarn. I've already pulled the center out because it has fought with me rather viciously, honestly. But this There we go. There's the colors we have in this skein right there. Lots of blues, grays, blacks. The recommended hook size is a 5mm. However, I like a little more drape in my shawls because that's what we're making is a shawl. So I am going to a 5.5mm crochet hook. I have my scissors, and then you will need your needle to sew in your ends, but considering this is a straight project, you've only got 2 ends to sew in, so not that bad. Not that bad on the sewing aspect for this one. Let's jump right into it. Go ahead and attach your yarn to your hook. Now, this design is comprised primarily of double crochet and chain stitches. Alright, so go ahead and chain up 4. 3 and 4. And then go back into the first loop, your first chain, and put 2 double crochet right into that first chain. Alright, and those 2 are going to complete row 1. Yay, easy peasy. Alright. I really hope y'all cannot hear that rooster in the background. Now, this next step, you can chain up 3 if you want, and please, by all means. But I learned a new little trick, and I'm going to share it with you. It is a single crochet, one on top of the other. So basically, you just turn your work, don't yarn over anything. Insert your hook right into the last double crochet you did for the previous row. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, just like you normally would a single crochet. And now you're going to go into, if you hold it straight, look at it directly, there's a little space here, and then there's a strand of yarn here, and a strand of yarn here. Get this left one, the one on your left side. Put your hook under that strand, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops as well. And now you have done single crochet on top of each other, and this is supposed to eliminate the space. Seriously, that rooster is going to drive me nuts. So that's supposed to eliminate the chain 3 spacing that happens. Alright, and I found that this works really well. This makes a much cleaner edge than chaining up 3. Alright, now go ahead and chain 1. Put a double crochet right into that next stitch as well. Chain another one. And put 1 more double crochet right into the top of our original chain 3. That's the only time I am going to have a chain 3 in this work. Everything else for me is going to be that standing, the standing single crochet one on top of the other. Alright. Now, I'm going to turn my work, do my 2 standing single crochets. There's 1. Remember, on that left-hand side, that's the strand you want. There we go. Okay. So our last row is a space row. This original pattern was completely in double crochet, but I wanted texture, so I did spacing. with chains. So I replaced a couple double crochet with chains, so this pattern is different than the original. In this space right here, we're going to put 2 double crochets. So with all that being said, if you want to make it easier, wherever I say chain, you can think put another double crochet. In this next one, we're going to put 1 double crochet on top of the one from the previous row. In the next chain 1 space, we're going to put 2 more double crochet. And then in the last space, which is either going to be a chain 3 or your stacked single crochets, we're going to put 1 double crochet. And if you turn your work to the side, you can see where the top of that single crochet sits. You just tilt your work to the side a little and it'll be right there. Alright, and now you should have something that looks a little like that. A triangle with some holes in it. That's the end of round 3. Let's turn our work and go to round 4, which is going to be a space row. Alright. Stacking my single crochets. Now I'm going to chain 1, skip this next stitch because I already took care of it with that chain 1, and then I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. Now right here is where one part of the magic happens to build your pattern. So when you get to the last 4 stitches, specifically on this side of your work, it'll make sense why it's always this side here in a minute. But these last 4 stitches are going to be worked in the exact same pattern every single time. As the pattern grows, you will have more double crochets, one after the other, going through the center. But the outside edges are going to be where your magic happens. So into these last 4, what you need is 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. But you see how this is a space row? I cannot stand that rooster, y'all. Cannot stand him. But this is a space row, right? So it's always going to be on the far side of your spacing row. And as your pattern builds, you'll completely understand what I just said. But for the back end, for this side of your spacing row, chain 1, put a double crochet directly next to the one that's already there. You will always have a double crochet in this 5th one, and you will always have a double crochet in this 4th stitch from the end. But remember, we needed 2 stitches in that one to make the increase, so that chain acts as one of our increases. Now I said we needed 1 here. This chain acts as the one that goes in there. Now we're going to yarn over and go directly into the next one. Alright, we skipped 1, going into the 2nd from the end, putting a double crochet. Now I said I needed 2 there, which means I need to chain 1 more to make up for that extra build I need. And now we're going to place our last double crochet right here in this last stitch. Alright, and that's going to be the pattern on this side every single time. Now let's go ahead and move on to row 5. Alright. Now this pattern does not change, and I'm going to show y'all exactly what I mean by that. So we end our space row with this wonky increase we've got. We're going to start our solid row with the same increase. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. I had to go have a sneezing fit. Goodness gracious. Okay, so we're going to end our space row with this wonky increase, but we're going to start our solid row with the same increase in reverse. So we're going to have our first double crochet here. Immediately put 2 more double crochet into that chain space. Okay? Then you're going to put 1 double crochet right in the top of this one from your previous row. And now you need to do your second increase into this next space. So 2 more double crochet right in there. All right. And now, every time you do this, after you've done an increase here and an increase here, the rest of this is just one double crochet into each stitch across for the rest of the way. That's it. So you're going to put 1 double crochet in the top of that one from your previous row. Don't forget your chain space right here. Remember, this is the wonky part, okay? Don't miss that one. Then you're going right into the top of that double crochet, into this chain space here, and then right into the top of this one, which is going to be, again, your chain up of 3 or your 2 single crochets on top of each other. Now, I'm going to pause right here. Because if you're like me, you are immediately noticing this is curving. Don't panic. That's correct. That is perfectly correct. You are right. It is supposed to curve on that side. Alright. Let's keep going so that I can show you how to do the little ridges, the divots that are in the pattern. Now I just did a solid row, so this next row is going to be a space row. Let me stack these single crochets, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and I am going to do that all the way across, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next, until I have 4 stitches left at the end. And I just hit that point right here. And remember, guys, what I said, you are always going to land a double crochet in this 5th one from the end, in this 5th stitch. So now, alright, this is your increasing side. You're going to chain 1, put a double crochet right next to the one you just did. Alright, no skipping this time. Chain 1. Now you're going to skip 1, go into the next one. Chain 1, and then go into the last stitch from that previous row. Just like that. See, this side's relatively straight, but this side is absolutely going to curve. How many rows is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. In the original pattern, the 6th row is where they did the drop down for the divot, but I did not like that. I went up to 8. But I have found that as long as you keep it on an even numbered row, it works out. Alright? So, for this one specifically, I am going to stop at 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I'm going to stop at 6 and show you guys how to do the drop down. Go ahead and start your solid row the same way you normally would. Alright? Still do your increase. And the drop down little divots will always be on a solid row. Always, because of how the pattern is, how the pattern's made. But remember, for this, we do 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 more double crochet, and then once we hit, you know, this kind of weird jut out like this, we know it's all singles. Alright? Now, we're not going to go to the end. We're going to leave 6 open spaces. Alright, and that is important as well. Keep your numbers even when it comes to this pattern. So let's see where we need to stop. Our first stitch is here, so 1, chain is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this chain is the 6th stitch. I need 2 more stitches to get where I need to be. And you'll always end up with your last stitch on this being in the top of a double crochet from the previous row. It should never end in a chain space. It should always end just like that. Okay? That's how you do the divot. And we're not going to do anything different after this. Okay? Make sure you get an even number of rows. So your spacing row will always be the one that juts out. The solid row will start your next section of the wing. I guess I can call them sections. And we're literally going to do the exact same thing we've been doing. We're just readjusting our numbers. So that was a solid row. Alright, our next one needs to be a space row. So I do my singles, I chain, and I immediately skip one. And then double crochet into the next. Chain 1. Double crochet into the next. And look, I am back on my curved side with only 4 left. So this pattern kicks right back in. Alright? Chain 1, double crochet into the next space, chain 1, skip the next one, and double crochet into the one after. Chain 1 and double crochet into the last double crochet. And now you've got your little divot. Okay? I'm going to leave you guys alone for a few minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up more of this pattern, then I'm going to meet you back, and we're going to see how it looks. If you guys have come up with any questions, anything you need better explained, let me know in the comments, but I'll meet you right back here shortly. Alright, now loves, I gave myself about 10 minutes, and this is what I got. Okay. This is where we were after about 10 minutes of work. As you can see, I got myself my full second section right here, and then I have started on my third, and my color has now transitioned into blue. So in this last section, I am just going to give you all the little tips and tricks right here at the very end, that have helped me keep up with this pattern. Alright. Your spacing row. When we're trying to make sure that we keep this side consistent, you know, with those wonky stitches I've got in here, your space row, the increase will always be at the end. But for your solid row, your increase will always be at the beginning. And when you're on that solid row, once you hit this wonky V right here, you know that this stitch is the start of a simple row of double crochet to the end. All of your counts can be changed in multiples of 2. Now, do not change your initial stitch count. That one obviously does not count here. But when we're talking about doing your sections, you can do 6 rows, 8 rows, 10 rows, 20 rows before you drop back down. This, keep it with an even number. If you don't want to go back 6, you only want to go back 4, and that would put your last stitch right here. You can go back only 4. You could go back 10 as long as you have 10 stitches to physically go back. And personal tip from me, this is personal preference. In the beginning, I will do a shorter number of rows. Like I've got 6, 6. I'll probably do 2 more 6s, and then I'll go up to 8 rows. And then a little while after that, I'll go up to 10 rows. And then after that, I might go up to 12 rows, just depending on how big I want my shawl. I don't think I missed anything. I hope I didn't. That was all my little tips and tricks. If you have any questions, need any help with anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.